الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف المرسلين وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين أما بعد. So continuing in the Sharh al Umdah al-Fiqh, we are at the bab of those nafil salawat that are made in jama'ah. Those nafil salawat that are prayed in congregation. We discussed al-Taraweeh and we discussed the different ahkam that had to do with it. The next nafil salah that is made in jama'ah that Ibn Qudama rahmatullah alayh he mentions is called Salatul Kusoof. Salatul Kusoof is what's called the eclipse prayer. A prayer that is prayed when there is an eclipse. And this is something that much of the ummah today has forgotten. In many countries, Muslim countries, they have totally forgotten about it. And if you go and you make it, people will think this is a bid'ah because they have not heard of it. Because of the ignorance that is prevalent in our lands. Ibn Qudama, he mentions this from the second type of those salawat that are nafil prayed in jama'ah. First thing to understand that there is no khilaf of ulama on this issue. Yani ijma'an, this is a sunnah salah from the nafil salawat to make salatul kusoof. And I will mention from the books of the major madhahib because we want everybody to benefit. No matter what madhab they follow, they want to understand from these durus. In the book of Hanafi fiqh, it's called the Mukhtasar al-Quduri, the relied upon book, it says that when the sun is eclipsed, the imam performs the salah with the people, which is 2 rak'at. Rak'atain, yani 2 rak'at. It is prayed according to Mukhtasar al-Quduri, the Mu'tamid book in the Hanafi bunch. The Hanabila have also have this in Zad al-Mustaqni' and al-Umdah, as we're studying in all of the well-known books. And the one according to al-Hajjawi in Zad al-Mustaqni', that when the sun or the moon is eclipsed, it is sunnah to make 2 rak'at, yani rak'atain. In the Maliki fiqh, we look at the book Al-Risala by Imam Ibn Abi Zayd, and he also mentions the same, that it is from the sunnah during the eclipse to make 2 rak'at in jama'ah. In Shafi'i fiqh, we can look at Al-Lubab fi fiqh al-Shafi'i, or Imam An-Nawawi in his Sharh of Sahih Muslim mentions it and then reports ijma' of the ummah. Like I said, when you claim that ijma', you have to prove where was it recorded. Today people just say there's ijma', there's ijma'. But here we're saying the ijma' was recorded by Imam An-Nawawi in his Sharh of Sahih Muslim and in other books like in his Majmu', that there is ijma' of the ummah that this is from the sunnah. Imam An-Nawawi writes that there is ijma' that this is sunnah muakkada, yani it is from the emphasized sunnah. And then he says this is the position of Imam Malik and Imam al-Shafi'i and Imam Ahmad and the Jamhur al-Ulama, and we do not know of any khilaf upon this. Some of the ulama of Iraq, Imam al-Nawawi says, some of the Ahlul Iraq, they prefer to pray individually, but they considered it sunnah still, but they didn't do it in jama'ah, they made it individually. He goes, but the Jamhur al-Ulama, they said it has to be made in jama'ah, and this is something that is proven from Sahih Ahadith. And he says that the dalil for the Jamhur is what is in the Sahih of Imam Muslim, the book that he was making the sharh of, and he mentions the hadith. So what we find, that there is ijma' of the ummah, that this is sunnah al-muakkada, and the Jamhur al-Ulama, they took that it should be made in jama'ah. Now how exactly is it prayed? There are 2 major opinions. Salatul Kusoof, how is it prayed? There are 2 major opinions. The first is that of the Ahnaf, the Hanafi madhab, and they say, as mentioned in the Mu'tamid book, Mukhtasar al-Quduri, when the sun is eclipsed, the Imam performs with the people, yani in jama'ah, with the people, rak'atain, 2 rak'ats, in the manner of nafil salah, with 1 ruku' in each rak'ah. He prolongs the recitation in both of the rak'atain. And he recites silently according to Abu Hanifa, while Imam Abu Yusuf and Imam Muhammad, they considered that he should recite out loud. Sayyid? So, even though we said, according to ijma' of the ummah, Salatul Kusoof is a sunnah muakkada. Sayyid? There was a group of ulama from Iraq that took it to be prayed individually, but there are few And the Jamhur, including the Hanafi, Shafi'i, Maliki, and Hanbali madhahib, they took that you should make it in Jama'ah. According to the Hanafi madhab, when the sun is eclipsed, it is made as 2 rak'ah nafal salah, with like regular nafal salawat, 1 ruku in each rak'ah. Imam Abu Hanifa took the opinion that it's done silently because it's in the daytime. But because of the clear ahadith like that in Sahih Muslim and others, that this was done out loud, his own students, Imam Abu Yusuf and Imam Muhammad al-Shaybani, they took the opinion that it should be recited out loud. Because those salawat that are made in Jama'ah, even in the daytime, like Jum'ah, like the Eidain, like these are made out loud. So, the first point to understand is that this is the opinion of the Hanafi madhab, that it is made in Jama'ah during the eclipse. Second point to understand, that Imam Abu Hanifa, he made his own ijtihad. And he said it's in the daytime, so it should be done silently, as the salawat of the day are done silently. But his own students, they disagreed with him. Abu Yusuf, Al-Qadi Abu Yusuf, and Imam Muhammad al-Shaybani, even though they are the direct students of Abu Hanifa, but they followed the dalil that they thought to be strongest, and they did not agree with their Imam, and they took the opinion that it should be recited out loud, and that is the opinion of the Jamhur al-Ulama. Tayyib, what is the dalil? We want to present their proofs as well. The dalil that is reported in the Sunan of Abi Dawud, Imam Abu Dawud's book of Hadith, that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he prayed Salat al-Kusoof with us like one of the regular salawat. He went into ruku' and performed the sajda and prayed 2 rak'ah, and he prayed 2 rak'ah with 2 ruku' and supplicating to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala until the sun clearly reappeared. The hadith is reported in the Sunan of Abi Dawud, but it is a da'if hadith. It is a weak hadith. In fact, a number of ulama have pointed out the weakness of the hadith, including Imam Ibn Abdul Barr, the great scholar of hadith. He criticized the hadith and the sanad. Imam al-Nawawi has also pointed out that it is da'if. And not only is it da'if, but it is in contradiction to what you find in Bukhari and Muslim from the greater number of asanid. Tayyib. So there is a hadith that has da'af in the sanad. The sanad is weak. Then, if it contradicts that which is stronger, that type of hadith is called what? Munkar. Shadh, if it had a strong sanad, but it contradicted that which was stronger. If it's weak in itself, and it also contradicts that which is stronger, it becomes munkar. The second opinion, and the opinion of the Jamhur al-Ulama, including the Hanabila, the Shawafi' and the Malikiyah and the Zahiriyah and others. Yani the Hanbali madhab, the Shafi'i madhab, the Maliki madhab, the Zahiri madhab, and other ulama like Shawkani and others, they also took the opinion that when the sun or the moon is eclipsed, it is sunnah to make 2 rak'ah in jama'ah. If somebody is unable to, they can make it individually as well. And if the women want to make it at home individually, they can. But the sunnah is to make it in jama'ah. And one recites al-Fatiha in it, like the regular salah, out loud. And then he recites a long surah after al-Fatiha, as Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam used to do in the first rak'ah. And then perform the ruku'. Then he raises his head, saying, Sami Allahu liman hamida, Rabbana wa lakal hamd. And what does he do after that? He recites Al-Fatiha again. Yes.
Can you just read this part?
I will. Inshallah, brothers and sisters will learn something new today. Then, after getting up from ruku', saying Sami Allahu liman hamida, Rabbana wa lakal hamd, he recites Al-Fatiha again. And a long surah, but shorter than the one he recited before. Then he performed ruku' a second time in that rak'ah for a long time, but shorter than the before. Then he says, Sami Allah liman hamida, raising up his head. And then he makes 2 long sujood. Then he performed the second rak'ah like the first, except done shorter than the first. Yani again, with 2 recitations of Fatiha and 2 surahs and 2 ruku', but the sujood will be 2 like a regular salah. And one recites the tashahhud and taslim after that. Imam al-Nawawi, in his Sharh of Sahih Muslim, he says, the ulama had khilaf about how Salat al-Kusoof is performed, even though they all took it to be sunnah. He said the most well-known or the mu'tamid opinion in the Shafi'i madhab is that it is 2 rak'ah, each rak'ah with 2 qiyam and 2 recitations and 2 ruku'. Although sujood will be just 2 like any other salah. And this is regardless whether the eclipse is long or short. And this is the position of Imam Malik as well. Yani Shafi'i madhab and the Maliki madhab, and Al-Layth, the great scholar Al-Layth, and Imam Ahmad bin Hanbal and the Hanbali madhab, and Abu Thawr, and the Jamhur of ulama of Hijaz and others. Imam al-Nawawi, this is his quote from his Sharh of Sahih Muslim. He says, Imam al-Nawawi, that the ulama of Kufa, yani the Ahnaf, say that eclipse prayer is done with 2 rak'ah like all other nafil salawat, based on the hadith reported by Jabir and Abu Bakr, and he says in which he made them write 2 regular prayers. The proof of the Jamhur ulama, Imam al-Nawawi says, is the hadith of Aisha reported by Urwa and Amra, and the ahadith of Jabir and Ibn Abbas and Ibn Amr ibn al-As radiyallahu anhum, which are more in number, yani more in asanid, which clearly show that 2 rak'ah were done with each rak'ah having 2 recitations and 2 ruku' and 2 sujood. And Al-Hafidh Ibn Abdul Barr, Imam al-Nawawi is quoting the great Maliki scholar Ibn Abdul Barr, said that this is the most authentic of what has been reported on the topic, and all the other narrations, like those that we mentioned from Abu Dawud earlier, are da'if and have ilal. Yani they have ilal in the wording and they have da'af in the sanad. And the Jamhur understand that this is what is mahfuz, this is what is protected. Imam al-Nawawi discusses this in great detail, but he closes, and I'm summarizing here, he says that those ahadith that mention 2 rak'ah, in each rak'ah having 2 ruku' are more authentic in sanad. Yani they are Bukhari and Muslim. And they have more asanid, they have more chains of those narrators that have better memory. They are hufad, they are atqa, and they are stronger in their thiqa. And they are more precise in their dabt. And they are mentioned with strong asanid, and everything that contradicts it is with weak asanid. So this is what is mahfuz, what is protected. Therefore the method of Salat al-Kusoof, which is mentioned in Bukhari and Muslim, with the most number and the authentic numbers, is the way that Aisha radiyallahu anha reports from Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam that he sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he used to make the first rak'ah, he used to recite al-Fatiha out loud and read a long surah after al-Fatiha, and different ahadith mention different surah from the Quran, because it was done more than once in the life of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And then Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, after the surah, after al-Fatiha, he would make the takbir and go into ruku'. And he would say, Sami Allahu liman hamida, Rabbana wa lakal hamd, and get up from ruku'. But then after getting up from ruku', he would recite al-Fatiha again. And another long surah, but shorter than the first time. And then say takbir and go into ruku', and then say Sami Allahu liman hamida, Rabbana wa lakal hamd, and then go into sujood. And then perform 2 sujood like regular salawat. And that is what is mentioned from Aisha radiyallahu anha. She says the second rak'ah was like the first, except a little bit shorter. Yani, he did the same thing, he made 2 qiyam, 2 qira'at, 2 ruku', but a little bit shorter than the first. Then he performed the tashahhud and he made the salam. This is something that we find from Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The dalail for this opinion can be found in many ahadith, like I mentioned that of Aisha radiyallahu anha, which is reported both in Bukhari and Muslim. Yani these ahadith to perform Salat al-Kusoof like this are muttafaqun alayh. They are in both Bukhari and Muslim. And that which contradicts it are not in Bukhari or Muslim. So according to the ulama of hadith, the most authentic of the asanid mention this matter. They are also, as mentioned by Abdullah ibn Amr ibn al-As, that they were reported by different Sahaba at different times, so it shows the regular practice. They're also mentioned from a greater number of Sahaba. Yani the more number, including Jabir and Ibn Abbas and Amr ibn al-As and Aisha and other as well. They're also mentioned by many asanid from them, and they are mentioned clearly with wording. Yani the wording is clear as well. Shaykh Muhammad Salih ibn Uthaymeen in his Sharh al Umdah, he preferred this method as well as Shaykh Abdulaziz ibn Baz and other ulama have said this is what is clear and strong. Shaykh al-Islam Taqiyuddin ibn Taymiyyah, he made a very valuable comment regarding the length of the salah. He says sometimes the eclipse lasts for a long time and sometimes for a short time, depending on how much of the sun and the moon is eclipsed. The entire sun or the moon may be eclipsed, or only half of it or 1/3 of it. If it is a total eclipse, then one should pray a salah long enough to recite all of Baqarah or something similar to that in the first rak'ah. This is what Shaykh al-Islam Taqiyuddin ibn Taymiyyah mentions. And the next rak'ah, a shorter recitation is made. There are sahih ahadith that the Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, as we have mentioned, it has prescribed to shorten the prayer in the shorter of the eclipse if it is no longer there. Yani if the eclipse finishes during the salah and you're reciting, you can shorten the salah to finish it in a faster method. If it is known that the eclipse will be long or short, the person can make the salah with the length of the eclipse. This is the opinion of the Jamhur al-Ulama, because the prayer is prescribed for a specific reason, and the reason no longer exists, then the salah should be completed. So that means that if you start the salah and you start al-Baqarah, but the eclipse finishes, and you are either informed or you notice or you find out, like if it's a solar eclipse and you see the light coming again, then you don't have to finish al-Baqarah and you don't have to continue very long surah. You can shorten it and finish the salah, because the sabab for the salah is gone, but you don't just break the salah, you finish it. Imam al-Hajjawi in his Sharh al Umdah, he says that if the eclipse ends during the prayer, then you complete the salah but briefly. And this is agreed upon by Shaykh Muhammad Salih ibn Uthaymeen in Sharh al Umdah and Shaykh ibn Jibreen in his Sharh al Umdah. Now, some of the ulama of Islam felt a talk should be given after the salah, while others held the view that this is not from the sunnah, and we will leave this for now because there is a long khilaf. But the salah in this method is established. We don't see clear proofs for a talk to be given. So we leave it at the salah, inshallah. There is an important point I will make and end the dars today. About Salat al-Kusoof. Mughira ibn Shu'bah radiyallahu anhu, he says the sun eclipsed in the lifetime of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam, and it was on the day that his son Ibrahim radiyallahu anhu, and the son of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam, had died. The people said that the eclipse was because of the death of Ibrahim. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam, even though it's a very harsh time right now, imagine your child, your baby son just died. But even at that time, he came out and he told the people, don't say this. The sun and the moon are two ayat, and two signs from the signs of Allah. They do not set or rise or eclipse due to the life or death of anyone. They do not do this. When you see the eclipse, instead make salah and make dua to Allah. SubhanAllah, we look at the issue of Tawheed and Salat al-Kusoof. The Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam stopped the ghulu. Some people, they exaggerate the status of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. They exaggerate the status of Ahlul Bayt. We love Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. We love Ahlul Bayt, but everything in its place. Some people, they go too far, where they go past the boundaries of Quran and Sunnah. Some people lack in their love for Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam and Ahlul Bayt, and this is wrong as well. We must love Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. We love Ahlul Bayt. We love the Sahaba. We love the wives of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam as our own mothers, and more than our mothers. And we love everybody who Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala loves. We love the awliya, everything that is true, but in its place, not to make it into shirk, not to make it and not to take advantage of things. Today we have fake Sufi saints who do tricks, and they try to fool people into ghulu. I've seen it myself. And we could give you many examples, but I don't want to take up too much time. But even sometimes may not be a trick. They tell somebody, make this dhikr, and Allah gives them shafa. And they say, see, my ta'weez, it gives you shafa. Na'udhu billah. Shafa is from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Even when the sun eclipsed on the same day as the death of Ibrahim radiallahu anhu, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam could have at least kept quiet, and the people would have said it was for that. But he immediately made rad. He said, no, this is not because of the death of my son Ibrahim. This is for an order from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So we must be careful to stay away from shirk and ghulu. And inshallah today we have learned about Salat al-Kusoof, and we hope that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will give us the ability that when there is an eclipse, to make it, and to make it in jama'ah as from the sunnah, and to make it in accordance to the way of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, with true qiyam, true recitations, true ruku' in each rak'ah. Jazakumullahu khair.